Temporarily from the free coast of the Shire, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of September 8th and 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.14 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,195 per ounce. Zen is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,445. Antiwar.com reports following Thursday's report that Russia had recently informed the U.S. of planned military operations against terrorist groups on the Syrian-Jordan border. A company of U.S. Marines conducted a live-fire exercise in the same area. Officials say it was intended to be a warning to Russia. The exercise took place near the U.S. base at Al-Tanf at the corner of Syria's border with Iraq and Jordan, though the U.S. no longer really has any allies in the area, which was the initial point of the Tanf base. The U.S. does regularly attack any pro-Syrian forces who get too close. The proximity of rebels, especially al-Qaeda-linked groups on the Jordanian border, has pretty much been ignored by the U.S. The possibility that Russian and Syrian forces might take care of those groups has infuriated the U.S. and led to threats of force. CENTCOM officials continued to talk up the idea that they will not hesitate to use necessary and proportionate force if Russian, Syrian, or other pro-Syrian groups get too close to the Al-Tanf base. In the past, U.S. forces have attacked pro-government militias for getting near the Al-Tanf base and have also attacked and killed hundreds of Russian military contracts on one occasion, an incident followed up by U.S. bragging. Though Pentagon officials are presenting this as standard operating procedure, it is anything but, particularly since Syria never authorized U.S. troops to be there in the first place. Attacks on Russian troops would be a much bigger deal and not something usually passed off as self-defense.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Reuters reports Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing in the Senate this week was frequently disrupted as protesters were removed from the hearing room by police, with more than 200 people arrested. In an unusually intense episode of civil disobedience on Capitol Hill, the 4-day Senate Judiciary Committee hearing was targeted by creative resistance by liberal activist groups, according to Linda Sarsauer, a board member of Women's March. On Tuesday morning, as she was the first to be taken out of the hearing room by police officers, Sarsauer yelled, "This is a travesty of justice," adjourned the hearing. Minutes later, 3 more women were removed as they shouted, "Vote no on Kavanaugh," and "My daughter has the right to choice." Fears that Kavanaugh, if confirmed to the court by the Senate, could open the doors to scaling back abortion access were a key focus at the hearing. Sarsauer told Reuters that her group's members accounted for 209 of the 212 arrests made Tuesday through Thursday, including nearly all of the 177 arrests within the hearing room. The majority of those arrested were charged with disorderly conduct, paid a $35 fine, and were released. Sarsauer said the arrest during the hearing showed the level of dissent over Trump's nomination of Kavanaugh, a conservative judge, for a lifetime Supreme Court seat. The activists were trained in nonviolent civil disobedience and got legal support. Sarsauer said, "We are not engaging in some sort of charade. We believe this is a matter of life and death." Women's March organized the protest with the Center for Popular Democracy and We Demand Justice, a group formed to oppose Trump's judicial nominations. At the Kavanaugh sessions, the disruptions began several minutes after Republican Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley gavelled the hearing open on Tuesday. Each day, members of the public arrived by 7 a.m. to queue up for hearing tickets. Then they waited in line for 20 to 30 minutes within the hearing room. One after another, activists stood to protest Kavanaugh's positions on health care, abortion, gun rights, or the proceedings themselves, interrupting lines of questioning and irritating some Republican committee members. Kavanaugh testified this week that Roe v. Wade is Supreme Court precedent, but declined to say whether he believed the case was correctly decided. On Wednesday, Carla Bedard and 2 others dressed in the red cloaks and white bonnets worn by persecuted women in the television show The Handmaid's Tale removed their costumes to go into the hearing room. Bedard stood up and raised her hands where she had written, "We dissent." She was one of 73 arrested that day.
Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.